I have spoken to dozens of creators asking them about their business, about their lives, about their creativity, about the challenges that they face, about the things that they are focusing on and thinking about at the moment. And there are so many, infinite social media, YouTube, entrepreneurial gurus out there who will help you scale your channel, scale your Instagram account, earn more money, and all of that side of things. Like, that side of things is taken care of. The thing that has really come out for me, and the thing that I really care about as a creator who has been making videos and social media content and podcasts and books for the past 14 years, and then also in the last year and a half, I've been a mentor and consultant to other creators and hoping to get certified as a coach. The thing that I really care about is more of the soft skills, the things around satisfaction and fulfillment, and how do we build careers that are aligned with our values as ambitious and passionate creators without burning out. And so I wanted to share with you, and actually I'm gonna do it, this exercise that is a free download if you sign up to my newsletter, Creator Talks. This is a wheel of life that you may have seen before. It is commonly used in things like life coaching, but I have modified this to be specifically about creator life. So when you sign up to my newsletter, link in the description, you'll get a free download of this. There is this template that you can draw on yourself if you print it out physically, or you can do it digitally. And then there is this page as well that explains all of the different categories and my thinking behind them. So today is an interesting day for me to be showing you how this works and going through it myself for my current career in this moment, because I'm having a wobbly day, and also my 3-year-old has just started at nursery and I'm feeling a bit like untethered and lost and confused. So this will be an interesting experiment to see like where I'm at today. And that is one of the cool things about this exercise, is that you can do it multiple times to see your progress or to witness changes over time. And I do find that it is a useful exercise to do just to check in with yourself. So the wheel of life, or the wheel of creator life, as my version is about looking at these 8 different areas and ranking how satisfied you are in them. And then looking forwards to what you can then do to improve your level of satisfaction. So it really is very personal and subjective, because you may be incredibly satisfied with a certain kind of situation that would be very unsatisfying to somebody else. But without further ado, let me go through the categories, the different areas that I have identified as being important for fulfillment if you are a creator. And I identified these specifically for content creators, but actually I think it can apply more broader to any kind of creative field, like if you're a freelance artist or something as well. But bear in mind that this is specifically made for content creators, so there will be like some specificities in there for that. So in no particular order, our first category is community. Being a content creator can be lonely. Many of us are working for ourselves, working alone, home alone all the time. And so this category is about, are you satisfied with the peers and friends that you have who are also creators, people that you can talk to about being a creator, people who understand your job? Do you feel a part of a creator community? Are there people that you can lean on and ask questions to? Are there people that you can collaborate with? That's community. Next is values. Now, not every creator, not every influencer particularly thinks about this, but this is something that I think about very deeply and a lot, maybe too much. And I feel like the kinds of creators that I want to connect with will also deeply care about this too. It's all part of our values. So this is about identifying, what are your personal values? What do you care about? And is what you make and the way that you work and maybe the brands that you partner with as well, are they aligned? This can be so broad because there are many different reasons why we do things. But I think if you are somebody who cares about your personal values, this is about ranking, like, how satisfied are you in terms of, do you feel like you are acting in accordance with your values, or is there something at odds there which might make you more dissatisfied? Next is clarity. This is just being clear on where you are headed and how you are going to get there. Do you have goals? Do you have a strategy of how to reach those goals? Are you proactive or more reactive in your decision making? I feel like as a content creator, it often feels like things are just happening to us and we're just like responding to the whims of algorithms or our audiences or, platform behaviors or, a brand deal or work comes in rather than us like actively seeking things out and making a plan and making a strategy. So clarity is all about, do you have your vision? Do you know what your goal is? Do you know where you want to go and how to get there? Creativity. Do you like what you make and do you enjoy the process of making it? Are you skilled at what you do? Do you have the opportunity to learn new skills and be challenged? And do you feel like you have freedom to experiment? Because this is another area, especially if you're a content creator who has gained some kind of success and platform, it can often feel then that you are pigeonholed in terms of like what made you successful and you no longer feel like you can experiment. But I believe that experimentation is a massive part of what makes us feel fulfilled and satisfied when it comes to our creativity. Boundaries, the B word. This is crucial as a content creator, as somebody with an audience online. This is where we get a bit meta about thinking about our relationship with our audience and parasocialness and saraposhalness, to quote John Green. But this is about, how do you feel about your relationship with your audience? Do you feel in control of your online interactions? Or, like when you open up an app, you're immediately met with anxiety. Are you able to distinguish between your online self and your offline self? They might be massively overlapped, but it is healthy to be able to distinguish between the two. And are you able to separate what people say about you online from your self-worth? This might not have been where you thought I was going with boundaries, but we'll see in the next category what you might have thought it would have been. But this is really crucial to not only creator satisfaction, but also well-being. I know lots of creators who have said to me over the years, I'm having to spend like 3 hours a day just responding to comments and DMs. And my response to that is like, you don't have to do that. But these creators are getting exhausted and burnt out and not able to actually like make the stuff that is, eliciting such a lovely response from people because they feel obliged to be responding to everyone. So this category is all about figuring out the boundaries between you, your audience, your online self, your offline self, all of that. Work-life balance. So this is kind of boundaries 2.0. Are you actually able to switch off? Do you have time for yourself? Do you have hobbies that you don't monetize? Are you able to step away from emails, social media, your phone, even if it's just for a day? And do you take proper breaks and holidays? And I don't just mean breaks where you burn yourself out pre-filming, pre-editing content to go out whilst you're away, but like you actually take time off from posting too. God forbid. It's hard. Money. I can't ignore money, guys. Look, the hustle bros and the girl bosses can teach you how to scale up your 6-figure business. I'm not about that, but I'm also not going to ignore that money is important and can play a massive factor in our overall satisfaction, even if it's just so that you're not worrying about it. So this is really just about thinking about how much money do you actually need to make in order to live the life that you want. You may not need to have a 6-figure business, and that's okay. Do you feel financially secure as a creator? And do you have diversified revenue streams, which can often play into that feeling of security? And then our final category is, again, another one that other people will dive into in more detail, but I won't ignore that it is important, and that is performance. This is where the numbers and the stats come in of how your content, how your videos, how your podcasts, how your social media posts are performing online. Oftentimes we can get really stuck in this being the only thing we care about. So I want to remind you, it's one of 8. It's one of 8 things. But are you happy with your online stats? Do you have ideal numbers that you want to try and hit or maintain? And how does it make you feel if a piece of content performs badly? How does that feel? So those are the 8 different categories that I have identified. And now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my Wheel of Creator Life. I'll be honest with you, I have not prepped for this, like mentally. I've not been doing any reflecting. I'm just like, we're just gonna see how I feel in the moment. So let's do this. We have a scale of 1 to 10. So you rank it in terms of your satisfaction. 1 being the lowest, not satisfied at all. 10 being the highest, extremely satisfied. Let's go in the same order that we went through everything. So community. So this being about my creator community. So I've got my 2 good friends, Lena and Lucy, who have been content creators around a similar amount of time to me, many years. And we do a quarterly banging business club. We used to have a podcast together called Banging Book Club, and we call our private 3-person business club Banging Business Club. The fact that that exists is a huge factor in my satisfaction of community. And then there's a few other like creator friends that I have dotted around who I feel like I can really share with and talk about this kind of stuff with, business and social media and creativity and all of that. But it's not a 10 out of 10 because honestly, it hasn't been the same since the pandemic. YouTube closed all of its YouTube spaces. Those were incredible for community. There is a space in London and New York now called 529 that I've been to a couple of times, but it's just not quite there yet. So there is this like wider creator community missing from my life that I had pre-pandemic, pre-baby. But in terms of like those deep connections with people, they're really solid, they're really there. The kind of like more wider creator community, like actually groups of people, events, in-person stuff, that is something that I want to make. So, you know, if you want that too, please sign up to my newsletter and hopefully we can make something happen. I think I'm gonna give this one a 7. Where is our 7 line? This is our 7 line. So you can either do dots in the middle of each line or you can like color the whole thing in. I'm just gonna make a mark for now and then I'm gonna decide what I wanna do because I got lots of colors here. Values, oh my goodness. This is something that has tortured me over many years. I think this is an interesting one for me now because obviously I stopped doing sex and relationships education content. And I have been in a bit of an emotional turmoil about how much does making lifestyle content align with my values. But actually, it really does because of the type of lifestyle content I make. I struggle to explain what it is that I make because it isn't this like very highly consumerist kind of lifestyle content that is maybe the more well-known stereotypical kind of lifestyle stuff. I generally work with brands that I really align with, but again, I would love to be able to not have to rely on a lot of that. Maybe that's more money side of things. But I love that Patreon is a huge part of what I do because like community funded stuff and creating things together and doing things together as community is very like values aligned for me. I'll often talk about issues that are important to me in my content. It's not something that like all of my content is about. And I do feel like every creator kind of has to figure out what their personal policies are and their personal balance between constantly talking about issues, being like an online activist versus doing whatever it is you're doing and then incorporating your personal values and thoughts and feelings into that. Anyway, I'm rambling, but values, I feel like 7 is a cheating answer, you know? It's not committing either way. I think it's like a 7 or an 8 because I do sometimes wish that I didn't have to work with some brands, but money-wise, I kind of need to, and actually I'm holding myself to higher standards than other people are. And you know what, actually, broader than just like, I'm kind of talking here about political values, I guess, and like ethical values and things like that, but also values in terms of things that are important to me, like my family and my work-life balance. Obviously, that's going to come up later, but I am doing things that feel aligned with those values too. So I'm going to give myself an 8. We got there eventually, an 8. Okay, clarity. My goodness, do I go... Even just this year, I've gone through like crying in a park in Zurich to then doing literally a whole business course called Clarity First and feeling really good at the end of that. And then summer happening and now this new school year is happening. My son started nursery and I'm like, what am I doing? What is happening? But I do think that the panics that I have about that are minor and I do know what I'm doing. And actually I do have a solid plan. And even the fact of like doing this wheel of creator life is kind of part of that, you know? So I still feel a bit wobbly at times, so I'm gonna give myself an 8, but yeah, good. Creativity. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I constantly have a little crisis about not being a creative person, like not being an artist, big A. But I feel like a lot of my creativity comes out in like project planning. Is that insane? Does that count? I'm more of a paint by numbers kind of gal, if you know what I mean. I'll build you some IKEA furniture any day. Could I like invent and create something from scratch from my head? I was about to say no, but actually I've been making videos from scratch from my head and 2 books and 2 podcasts and lots of social media content for 14 years now. So there is some creativity in me. If I think about my satisfaction, how satisfied do I feel creatively? It's not like how creative do I feel, it's how satisfied do I feel. And actually I feel like pretty satisfied, not super satisfied. I'm gonna give myself a 7. I feel like if I had more time and more money, classic, more time, more money, wouldn't that solve all of our problems? There is more just kind of like playful stuff that I want to do. Maybe I need to revisit the artist's way and start taking myself on some more artist dates. Ooh, I'm already thinking ahead to the next step. Right, moving on, but that's gonna come up in a bit. Boundaries. Honestly, this feels good. I'm gonna give myself a 9. I was gonna give myself a 10, but I feel like there's always room for improvement. But this is something that I have had to work at and trial and error and really curate my interactions online and really like set an example, especially with my Patreon community, because we have like a Discord server that we all share. And I feel like in the way that I have conducted myself online over the years and the way that I have talked about my audience in a way that acknowledges that it is a one-way relationship, it is a parasocial relationship, but it is one that on my side, I have a huge amount of respect and care for you, people watching. So whilst I don't know you personally necessarily, there is this, again, John Green, a saraposal relationship too. But what I love about the community that I have been able to build and foster over the years, to pat myself on the back from leading by example as, you know, the quote unquote leader of this community, I feel like I've been able to have a really healthy relationship with my audience. It's not always been the case, but again, it's like through hard work, I've been able to get there. So that feels good. Work-life balance. This also feels good. I work a lot less now than I used to since having my child, and that has been wonderful in so many ways because I'm definitely less stressed. I enjoy having the flexibility to kind of work under capacity. We are trying for another baby and it's taking a while. I don't want to talk about it. So I am kind of like preparing myself to, you know, not want to take too much on in case that happens. Fingers crossed. I've kind of been living in this limbo for the last, you know, almost 2 years, so that's fun. I said I didn't want to talk about it. It's a funny one because whilst I genuinely feel like I am living the kind of life in terms of the amount of hours that I work and the balance that I have, like the hobbies that I have and the time that I'm able to have to myself as somebody who runs a business, works for themselves, and is a mum, I think it's the kind of work-life balance that a lot of people would envy. Saying so myself, I don't know if that's true, but I would envy it. I feel like if I didn't have it. So I feel like it is a 9, but then we're gonna come to this now, money and performance, that kind of like really high satisfaction in my work-life balance category, I do think comes at a cost and a sacrifice in these next 2 categories. So money. This is a tricky one. Is it a tricky one? I've talked about this a lot, how my income like massively dropped after having a baby because I took 3 months off maternity leave and then was working less. And then of course for all sorts of reasons that I talked about a lot on this channel and in my newsletter, stopped doing the sex ed content, which also took a hit to my income. And then in terms of how I'm feeling today, yesterday I had a look at my like monthly report on Monzo in terms of like my cash flow. And yeah, the graphs were not easing my anxiety about the fact that I'm not earning as much money as I used to. But I also know why. It is the inevitable outcome of the choices that I made for lots of other reasons. So if I say I'm really dissatisfied in it, then I like want to increase that satisfaction, then other things I think maybe have to give. I don't know. Maybe I can have it all. I don't know. I'm gonna put money at a 6. because it's not like completely dire. Obviously I'm still here and I'm able to pay my video editor and pay my assistant Moog and make these videos, but it's definitely not where I would want it to be. And every so often, like when I look at the stupid Monzo graphs, I panic. I have a full like, oh fucking shit moment. Performance. Okay, I feel like I have made peace with the fact that I am in my plateau era, especially since having a baby. Ever since Rowan was born, I've been losing Instagram followers until recently when I had some like big hits on Reels, and then I was like in the green again, but I think I've lost it now and we're going back down again. But then my YouTube is growing still, but slowly. That's fine. I would say the one thing that I want to do that is such a superficial goal is hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel, just because it's a nice round number and hopefully I'll get the silver plaque. Do YouTube even still do the 100,000 subscribers silver plaques? I hope they do. But I would say over the last 3 years, I've really had to work on my mindset around this. And actually, I think considering the humongous career change that I made, and a lot of my videos still perform really well to like a standard that I'm really satisfied with. The only videos that really perform badly are like the book vlogs, the reading vlogs and bookish videos, but people love those. They'll like perform really badly in views, but they'll have the most comments. And so how can I be dissatisfied with that? I think there's also something to be said in terms of like expectations versus reality. And I feel like I have a good handle in terms of my expectations. So in terms of performance, I think I'm gonna put that one at a 7 or 8. I'm gonna go 7. We've got them all. I'm gonna pick a color. I'm gonna go green. So you could like do dots and then like join your dots in like lines and then you get like a spider web thing. But I'm going to do the coloring in one. So community is a 7 and then you get a nice little diagram at the end. Oh my God, do we do different colors? Do I have a pink? I do have a pink. Because this is also kind of soft launching the name of the brand. For the kind of like creator work that I'm doing, I came up with a name for it. It's on the bottom of this sheet. Soft launch, the softest of launches. But I want to call it, or I am calling it, say it proudly, Hannah, creatorful. One word, creatorful, because it's all about feeling fulfilled as creators. And the color scheme is very wicked. Pink and green and yellow. We've only got 8 categories. I don't want, oh wait, no, but there's orange. Right, it's fine. What am I doing? I'm gonna go yellow and then orange and then we'll go back to green. This is very therapeutic. It's not therapy, therapeutic. Right, creativity, 7. Oh my God. Did I pick the best color palette or did I pick the best color palette? I love it. Back to green. Boundaries, 9. Look at that. Bink. Work-life balance, another 9. Look how satisfied I am. So satisfied. Money. Money is our lowest one, 6. Honestly, the fact that my lowest one is a 6, I would say is a pretty fucking good sign. Go me. Right, and then performance, 7. Voila! Look how cute that looks. I love it. So then once you have your visual, it's really great to create the thing because you can just see so clearly like, oh, I'm really satisfied in these 2 areas, which is kind of interesting because they kind of require similar skills or effort and attention, work-life balance and boundaries. Then we've got 8s in values and clarity, 7s in performance, community and creativity, and then a 6 in money. So once you have your wheel of creator life all finished like this, just take a minute, have a look at it. What stands out to you? What is jumping out at you? What is it making you think or feel? What are you noticing? And then, and all of these instructions are on the page as well, you're gonna go through each area and ask yourself the question, what would make this a 10 out of 10? What would have to happen for for this to be a 10. And then write it down. You can either write it down next to the things on the page, or you can write it on the back of the page, or you can journal in a notebook, you can write it in your notes app on your phone, do whatever it is you want to do. So you go through each one, ask yourself, what would have to happen? What is the situation? What does it look like for this to be a 10 out of 10? What you write down is essentially your goal in those areas. And so once you have your goal for each area, you're going to ask yourself, what can I do in the next 24 to 48 hours to get myself one step closer to that goal? And the reason why it's 24 to 48 hours is because it really has to be something that is manageable, doable, attainable quickly. Because the sooner you take action on it, then that is going to actually help you to build momentum and continue. If you just do the wheel and you kind of like look at it and have a bit of a think and set your goals, but then you don't do that final step, you are way less likely to actually then reach those goals. It is super important to take action, no matter how small it is, as soon as possible. So if I were to do this, so community, I mean, I kind of already said it, like my 10 out of 10 for this would be to be someone who like regularly hosts creator events, who brings people together. Like I love being a connector of different people. Yeah, I think just like, I'm gonna put like regularly hosting creator events. Oh, it's a blue pen. Regularly host create events. What can I do? What can I do in the next 24 to 48 hours to get myself closer to that goal? I mean, film this video and post this video and ask people to sign up to my newsletter who would be interested in attending said creator events so that then we can do something. There we go. I did it. Values. What would make my values a 10 out of 10? Where do I feel like I'm lacking in my satisfaction here? I feel like it's a mix of being able to say no to some sponsors and figure out how I describe the content that I make in a way that I feel proud of. Does that make sense? And in a way that I'm not like apologizing, like I'm a lifestyle creator, but like not like that. Sorry, I know. What is that? What is that, Hannah? So ability to say no to brands. Describe what I do and be proud. I think my issues here probably stem from the fact, having come from making sex ed content, I could say that very proudly. That is something to be proud of because it's noble and, you know, it's doing a good thing, it's a good cause. And the fact that that's something that I've had to let go and that's no longer part of my identity, I think I've been struggling with that more than I expected. What can I do to make this a 10 out of 10? Honestly, in terms of ability to say no to brands, I either need to make more money from my mentoring and consulting work, but that is a slow burn, or like work on my Patreon stuff, like build up the Patreon. We're planning on making a Patreon only podcast, me and Moog, talking about books, TCR, TBR books specifically. So that is happening. We need to have our first production meeting about it, which I literally think is actually happening in 2 days. So 48 hours, boom, done. Describe what I do and be proud. Why is that so sad to me? I will ask my patrons and I'll ask Moog this week. I'm gonna do that and try and hive mind this shit. Clarity. What would be a 10 out of 10 in terms of clarity? Honest to fucking God, get pregnant. I think the thing that is really hindering me with any kind of clarity is not knowing if and when I'm going to get pregnant, and so not being able to long-term plan. What can I do in the next 24 to 48 hours to reach that goal? So stupid. Well, in terms of where I'm at in my cycle right now, I should probably go out to the shops and buy a pregnancy test and not get my hopes up. Fun. Okay, creativity. What would be a 10 out of 10 for me for creativity? I know I have such a tumultuous relationship with it, but actually having more time to make stuff for social media, whether that be fun reels or putting some fun carousels together. I wish I had more time to play on social media, which, I don't know, feels weird to say. Plus artist dates again? I don't know. I'm gonna not take my own advice here as well, because I'm like, can I make a next step here? Because my son is still settling into nursery. I don't know what my routine is gonna be like, but maybe this could be my Friday thing. My Friday thing is about nurturing my creativity, maybe going on artist dates. So there you go. That's my plan. What am I gonna do this Friday? Maybe I'll take myself on an artist date. Maybe I'll make some social media content. Who knows? Okay, boundaries. This is a 9 out of 10. How do we get this to a 10? Do I skip these ones? Work-life balance, also a 9 out of 10. Oh, this is hard. I say there's always room for improvement. I feel like in terms of boundaries, there, like a 10 out of 10 would be to not be bothered by comments from people about how they used to watch my content. I used to watch you. They mean well, but I get recognized every so often and people are like, oh my God, I used to watch your videos. And I'm like, thanks. It reminds me of how long I've been doing this. Is that a boundaries thing? I don't even know. I think I'm just saying it because it happened to me yesterday. I need to come back to that one. I feel like I need to ponder boundaries a bit more. Work-life balance. I think, again, this is another one that is like buffering because of the new school routine that we're currently adapting to. Like I'm finishing at 3 p.m. today, but hopefully that won't be the new normal and he'll be an after school club. So blah, blah, blah. So work-life balance, this is just like, this is buffering. This is loading. And I mean, it's already a 9 out of 10. So it's not like a high priority for me to be working on those ones. Money. 6 out of 10. How do we make this a 10 out of 10? I have to also remind myself that it's not about getting back to the income that I was earning pre-baby. It's just about what's going to make me satisfied now. And I think for me, a 10 out of 10 is just not worrying, not stressing. But what does that look like? How much money do I need in order to not stress? You know? I feel like this is something that I will figure out and crunch some numbers off camera. Again, boundaries. See? I just set a boundary with my audience. But yeah, I think seeing that Monzo graph yesterday has shaken me a bit. So actually, do you know what I can do in the next 24 to 48 hours? I'm gonna email my accountant. We are 6 months into my company's financial year. And so that is a good time to sit down with her and kind of look at the last 6 months and be like, what's going on? So yeah, actually, that's a good thing. I can do that. That's a good next step. And then performance, I gave a 7 out of 10. What would be a 10 out of 10 for me? 100,000 subscribers. Oh yeah. 100,000 subs. And not losing followers on Insta. The bar is low. Although the 100,000 subscribers is actually quite a high bar because at my current rate of growth, it's gonna be a couple of years. Subscribe. What can I do in the next 24 to 48 hours? I need to plan some more reels. I don't need to plan them. I already have many planned. I just don't currently have the time. I haven't set aside any time to make them. So I'm gonna ask people to subscribe. And I mean, if you've gotten this far, like you're probably already subscribed. Share with a friend. But I've been sitting on so many ideas for reels for so long because I've not had dedicated social media time. And that kind of like ties into the creativity element as well, I guess, because that's what I kind of talked about there. Anyway, that's how you do the creator wheel of life. Full transparency, this has taken me just over half an hour. It'll probably take you a bit less because you won't be having to talk out your thoughts and feelings to a camera the whole time you're doing it. So I reckon give yourself half an hour, like minimum, to really let yourself think about some of these things. I find this kind of thing so useful. Really doesn't take all that much time. You can get it for free if you sign up to my newsletter, Creator Talks. And let me know how you get on with it. If you download it and you do it, I would love to hear like what's come out of it for you. And of course, plug, but there'll also be a link in the description to my Calendly if you want to book in a 30-minute free discovery call with me. If anything comes out of this in terms of goals that you want to reach that you feel like you need extra support with and you want somebody in your corner who can help you reach those goals. Thank you for watching this incredibly niche video and I'll see you in another one. Don't forget to like and subscribe and press that notification bell and do all of the things and sign up to my Patreon and get the free download of the thingy from the newsletter. It's fine, you genuinely don't have to do any of these things, but I hope it's helpful. Okay, bye!